Hi, I'm David King from the Collaborative with Chad Rabinovitz, the producing artistic director of the Adirondack Theatre Festival, the Adirondack Film Festival. You've got a lot of credits under your belt.
Keep them busy.
We've just been talking about MTV and facial hair and all sorts of random things, but it's not why we're here today. We're here for essentially to preview the film festival and also to get into, when I talk to people about Glens Falls and sort of the renaissance it's having, your name is mentioned over and over again as not only someone who's sort of been key to it, but as someone who's a real booster and willing to get out there and sort of sing the praises of what's going on. So first, I'm excited. I've heard a couple of the names for the film festival, a couple of the directors we've written about. So tell me how it's coming together this year.
Well, it's grown to be bigger and better than ever before. This is year 4. So, to go back, we started the film festival and I thought it would be this small little thing to start out. Let's see if this works out. We'll test the market. Maybe 100 people will come, and we had thousands in the first year. And so every year it's just grown bigger and bigger, and now we have 135 films. We have a ton of special events. There's going to be over 200 filmmakers attending. So it's gotten crazy. We could spend the next 5 hours just going over all the stuff that's there. But yeah, I can give you some of the headliners, some highlights. We're gonna kick off the festival on Thursday, the 17th, with The Pretenders, which, you guys know Pretenders. It was filmed up here,
James
Capital
Franco.
Region. Yeah. It'll be at the Palace, I believe. And then we'd like to start out the festival. Last year we did it with Radium Girls. So we're specifically looking for stuff that promotes local filmmaking in that feature film setting. So we do that. We've got one of the coolest things for me is Extraordinary. It's a new Will Forte, Maeve Higgins comedy. It's not going to be released until well after our festival. So it's always really cool when we get a major film that has its New York premiere with us. So that's rocking, and we've got the Peanut Butter Falcon that's going around now, just released, but it's hugely popular. It was the South by Southwest Audience Choice Award, also won the Nantucket Film Festival Award, Best Feature, and so now it just felt like the perfect film for Glens Falls, so we got that one. Greener Grass, I'm telling you, go watch the trailer for Greener Grass. It's one of the most bizarrely funny, absurd humor I've ever seen. Variety calls it the best SNL film, SNL sketch to film that SNL never made, because it wasn't an SNL sketch. It just feels, it has that absurd humor of it.
Who's in that? Is there anyone?
It's not like a name ringer on it, but it has 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
It also isn't released yet. It was a Sundance selection. It's one of the hits of Sundance, but we'll be getting it before its wide release. It's just one of those other ones you just can't miss. We have Loving Vincent, another headliner. So Loving Vincent 2 years ago was the best feature film for us. Our audience chose it, and then months later it was nominated for an Academy Award and Golden Globes and all these awards. So it was a kind of a big get that we ended up having, falling into in year 2. They've made a documentary on how that film was made, because it was something like 60,000 oil paintings to create it. The whole process was insane. So we have now the documentary on how that was made, and what I love about it is if you watch the trailer, up in the top corner it has Our Laurels that says Adirondack Film Festival, and I'm like, that's the first time that that we've been like on an international trailer that people are bragging with Our Laurels on it. I'm like, yeah, we made it. I think that those are our headliners, and I can keep going. You got to stop me, or I'll keep going into all of our special events and everything.
Yeah, I've heard of some local folks are also on it, some local filmmakers, and obviously John Russell Krang writes for us.
Yeah,
and raves about the festival in general. Reading his take on it. Obviously, he's a director, so he's talking about what's available to directors and how they're treated, and it sounds like you guys really go out of your way for them. But about lay it out for an audience member, someone who's just there to see the films. What are they, or coming in from out of town, what are they going to get in Glens Falls and at the festival?
Sure. Yeah. So there's two parts of it. It's the filmmaker experience and then the film goer experience. And what John and I talked about is how we created a film festival that grew so quickly that filmmakers keep talking about. And there's a site called filmfreeway.com, which everyone submits their films on. There's about 7,000 film festivals on that, and we've been ranked in the top 50 of those film festivals because based on filmmaker ratings. And so that honestly came from, they connect because the film goer experience to me is highly related to whether the filmmakers are enjoying it.
Right.
You treat the filmmakers well, you have yourself a good festival. We're the only, not the only, I like to talk in superlatives a lot, so I got to stop myself now. We're one of the few film festivals that house all of our filmmakers. So we've got over 100 hotel rooms that for 3 nights each that we're purchasing and got sponsored in order to make sure we take care of our filmmakers. It's a lot. Normally in the past we've had about 40 to 50 rooms that we've had, but everyone wants to come now. So it's just grown to be like, okay, we're gonna have a ton of people this year, let's do it. So we do that, our films show on time, and we pack the rooms. So the filmmakers are excited because there's tons of people there, and the patrons are excited because the filmmakers are there. And that's the symbiotic relationship, because then we create that sort of energy, the reason to get off the couch. Because I can stay at home and watch Netflix all day, but why would I leave? And that's because I can't watch that film with the filmmaker and the actors with me.
Right.
And I can't walk down the street and be like, what did you see? What did you see? Oh, I'm going to flip to this on Netflix. It's not the same thing. So you get this experience that you can't have. So as a goer, you're bombarded with all of the stuff you can go. There's, I think, 270 different screenings that are happening. We have 135 films. Everything plays, for the most part, most play twice, all the special events. So you get unlimited popcorn throughout the entire event. That's number one.
That's important.
Right? It's the film goer experience. And then you kind of just, the people who do it right take the schedule and they're like, oh, okay, I can go to this, then they circle this thing, and then they can go from place to place. And what's great about it for Glens Falls is that it's a walking tour of our community.
Yeah.
It's not like going to see a show and you go to the dinner and then you go to the show and then you go home or you go drinks, which also is good for the community. But here you have to walk to all of our different venues. And so you get to take a tour and you pass by everything, and it just feels like you get to know Glens Falls. And we're one of the few festivals in the country that it is all in walking distance.
Right.
We have 6 screens in like a 2-block radius.
And a lot has changed in Glens Falls in the last few years. There's a lot for folks to take in terms of obviously breweries and cafes and things like that. If you Sundance, obviously you have this allure of Hollywood that's just in another place, and you can go skiing. But
you can go skiing in Glens Falls.
Yeah, well, you could. But what would you say to people that come to upstate New York and come to north of Saratoga? But what's your selling point besides how we treat the directors? Like, what do you see that Glens Falls offers folks?
Well, a couple. You named the restaurants for one. We were just actually, my friends and I were hanging out. We were walking down to Raoul's for drinks last night, and Craft on 9 just opened up, and it's gorgeous. Popped our head in there, like literally just opened up. It's amazing. Like there's a Mikado just moved, and it's this beautiful, delicious restaurant. We looked at all the Fenimore's just got renovated. Park 26 is new. Everyone has a new menu. Downtown Social just has a new menu. I saw a sign, Seafood at the Bay is opening up. I'm like, we're getting a seafood restaurant? Awesome. I know nothing about it so far. And then you've got your stalwarts like Davidson's down at the core, and Rock Hill Bakehouse that everyone knows. It's now the Exchange is renovating, and it's got ambitious plans. So you start looking at it, you're like, man, there's a lot of great stuff that's here, that's opening up. You have this feeling like we're growing significantly. And we have that the energy, the gorgeousness of the atmosphere around us, the Adirondacks, you've got the setting. It's the perfect location because we're so close to Saratoga Springs, where you can get to Albany, you can get to Lake George, you can go to Martha's and get ice cream, you can go to Six Flags, you can go to the outlets. Everything's there, but we're the affordable place to be also, right? So it is nice to make it still, we're not over ambitious with our prices yet. So that's a big part of it, is that it's affordable, but it also has that small town charm with all of the large town amenities now, because we're so accessible. Because now it's so easy to get, I can take an Uber now and be 10 minutes down the road and be at the outlets if I wanted to. So you have, that's what I love about living in Glens Falls. I feel like I'm in this small community, but I know I can get everything I want and everything I need, and then some, in almost walking distance. So that's, I've
spent a lot of time up there recently because of the Hide and seeing some of what Adirondack does and the T-shirt factory, the
shirt factory. Yeah.
And I did the circuit a number of times, walking to different places and taking in the city and seeing all the things that were going up. But also, the Hide offers so much, and it's just a gem hidden there. But then you have the Children's Museum, which I've promised to take my daughter to. We haven't made it yet, but it does feel like a very vibrant living place that isn't just, Albany can be tough to navigate sometimes if you want to just walk from one place to the other, it feels like a vibrant but very low-key city.
You can park and there's no meters. There is all those small town charms of being able to walk down the street and saying hi to the person that you pass, even if you don't know them. You get to know the people in a small time. So if you live there, for me, it's just nice to be able to know the people in the restaurant, but also big enough that and with enough of a tourist population that you don't know everybody. So it's kind of that having your cake and eating it too kind of feeling, because it's so accessible, but is getting bigger, but it's not outgrowing itself. It's not trying to be a Saratoga where all of a sudden here's all these,
You can't park.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
But I'm wondering, 4 years in, do you have favorites? Do you have films you point to as saying we had that and that's what you just can't forget that you had that film, or that you followed the success? I know you mentioned a few things, but
Loving Vincent was one of those cool things. There's just been so many of them. It's hard for me because especially with the shorts. You have so many short films that right now I'm even just trying to get through. We have a programming director who watches thousands of hours in order to screen and select, and then I deal with the headliners and whatnot. So I haven't gotten through all the short films, and I'm like, okay. I just watched one last night. There's one called Wham. It's a 3-minute film about people who just meet and end up knocking heads and passing out on this one on the street, and then more people keep meeting, and then there's just these bodies of people. It's one of the funniest damn things I've seen. So I kind of am always more excited about what's to come than what we've done.
Right.
I think the highlight for me every year is actually the panels, because we've had filmmaker panels, we've had screenwriting, comedy writing panels. This year we have a stunt panel of stunt men and women and stunt coordinators.
Micah Khan will be excited about that.
Yeah. Well, Micah's been helping me.
Gotcha.
So exactly. So I learn a lot of this about what is cool to have, what we need, and what we don't have from the filmmakers that I meet. Because I've never been involved in any of this.
Right. And that's very interesting to me. That the theater festival is doing so well that you are able to also feel comfortable enough to put on a film festival. Obviously speaks to the need and want for the arts locally, but also your ability to organize these sort of things.
Yeah, I think so. I tell everyone this story and it's absolutely true. I don't have a history in film. I don't have a background or even coming to Glens Falls saying, I want to start a film festival. It came out of the community. There started to become this buzz of when we had a dinner in a movie theater place renovate in downtown. It doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
It's a 190 Grill. It's now Downtown Social, which is awesome. But once that opened up, people started saying, oh, we might have a film festival here. And people started coming to me and saying, you should think about a film festival. And I'm like, oh, I don't need more work. And then I started thinking about it. I'm like, we could have a screen here. Oh, we could have a screen here. And then I started researching other film festivals and seeing what they do. And then sooner, all of a sudden we had a film festival. And then I started talking to filmmakers and really diving into that research to figure out what makes a good one, what makes a bad one, what do I need to learn, what kind of technology do we need to have. And so it all started from a point of not a pet project, not an ego-driven, this is what Glens Falls needs to have.
Yeah.
It came from the filmmakers saying this is what we would want. It came from the community saying this is what we want and need. And that's how it continues to grow. And so we've been able to add new venues, like the Hyde jumped on, the Park Theater opened up, and now they're a part of it. We have another screen at the Wood Theater. And we've built a family. Like, I'm so pumped about, there's these filmmakers I get to see once a year. And I never would have met otherwise, and they're fantastic artists, and I can't wait to see their next work. I can't wait to be able to spend that weekend together, and then now we invite even more filmmakers to be a part of our family, and it's growing and growing. So it's organic, I guess you would say, and ATF just had the special skills of, our special sauce is that we know how to program events.
Right.
And build the audience and get the community behind it. Just good organizers.
And I mean, the timing is pretty great, given that I talked to a lot of folks in film recently. Been to places like the Lumberyard in Catskill and other places that are trying to attract film. And obviously, there's this buzz about obviously the tax credits in New York have been building and getting a lot of attention. But then you have Georgia sort of faltering because of the laws they passed regarding abortion, and people starting to protest and boycott there, and it does seem like a lot of shoots are coming up here, and I hear, every week about some actor who's here doing voiceovers or scouting or things like that, and there are a lot of studios getting that kind of work. Do you feel that? Do you get a sense that the film festival will grow even more because New York is drawing more?
Yeah, I mean, that's been a little serendipitous, and also I like to say we've been a driver of it too, because Radium Girls was a good example for us. We screened it last year, and it was filmed in Glens Falls. There's other films that have been filmed that we will be screening down the road, and there's ones that are in the works. So the same time that the film festival started, Glens Falls started a film commission, headed by Andrew Meter, who is actually on my board at ATF, former president. And so we have a very close relationship, and I mean, he's fantastic. And the mileage that they've gone already with bringing films to the area has been super impactful. And I actually, I think the best story to explain it is, we got a DRI grant from the state. Thank you, state.
Downtown Revitalization.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Governor. So we got this funding, and initially there was controversy about it, and people have been asking me like, oh, I don't think that's the investment that Glens Falls needs to make, because why would we give $40,000 to this festival? How much are you really going to bring in that weekend? So people will spend a little more at the restaurants. Cool, and you get to do your art. No, that is not the full view of what art can do for Glens Falls. The theater festival brings in six figures of revenue, in the significant six figures by any arts calculator, as far as the business that we bring, the foot traffic, and all that. But the film festival all of a sudden has a smaller weekend. So you think, oh, that's a smaller percentage. And it actually has the potential to be more, because we're now bringing hundreds of filmmakers into town. And part of what we do is the Film Commission offers them a filmmaker breakfast, and we pitch why Glens Falls and our surrounding area should be the place for your next film. And that's already seen success. We've already had that. And when a film comes to town, you're putting heads in beds, you've got catering, you've got people spending money. And now we're not talking about, oh, are you going to make the $40,000 back? But can you bring $400,000 or $4 million to your community by having these films here? So that $40,000 has already been paid back within a year, of that investment. And we're continuing to grow that beyond. Even though we bring tens of thousands for just that weekend, it's the long-term plan of making Glens Falls, making the New York State, making the capital region a filming destination.
And I mean,
revolutionary.
We should sort of set context for it even this year. I mean, HBO was filming Succession in Great Escape, right?
I think so.
Up in Lake George. They are also filming another show with Mark Ruffalo down in the Hudson Valley. And then the Succession was in Albany for a little bit as well, which is a show I watched the first season of. I don't have HBO at the moment, but I'll catch up.
It's worth it just for John Oliver.
Oh, is he on? Oh, right, yeah. Sorry, yes.
He's not in Succession.
Yes, no, I know what and then obviously we have a number of films. I randomly met Ben Stiller at the Film Albany thing, and the Escape from Dannemora show on Showtime. I mean, that really generated a lot of buzz and money out in Western New York. But obviously this region is seeing more and more sort of creep from New York City because New York City is full of shoots all the time, and this is an easy way, and there's also a lot of infrastructure and outdoor beauty, I guess. And it's not so much of a schlep to get all your actors out of New York and up here. Do you have a sense that next year is going to be similar? Have you heard about other shoots or things that are popping up, other films or?
Yeah. I mean,
not that you can share, but
exactly. Well, that's. I'm going through them like, I have no idea what's out there to be shared or not.
Yeah.
But the reality is, there's plenty of things in the works. We're seeing this constant growth in people who want to be in our area. And it relates to the theater festival too. We have found this niche as we've doubled in size in the past couple years, and we've been able to increase the quality of our artists. It's a quick train ride. And it's also a place, the theater festivals become this place that we develop these Broadway level shows, and we can get producers to come in from the city to come see it and then invest it in and work on developing it and bringing it to Broadway and beyond. And that's the luxury of being not in New York City, but being close enough, and also a great destination location, so people want to come out there, but you're also safe from all of the New York Times reviews and all that, right? So we found that we're this perfectly situated location to be doing this theater, this new work development in theater, and I think we're starting to see that film has that edge as well. If we've got the tax rebate, we're close enough to all the resources you need, we've got all the beauty you need, so it's just a matter of getting people more aware of what's there, and that's what the film festival can do, is just raise awareness within the national community of filmmakers.
So let's just talk brass tacks in terms of the film festival. How should folks who haven't been before sort of try it out, would you say? Is there
Sure. Well, there's one way to go. There's a couple ways to go. I'll give you you can go for a day, the 1 day pass. You can go for the festival pass, which is the whole time, or you get the VIP pass, and that's the only way to fly. I mean, it's $85, and in any other comparable film festival with what we are offering, they generally go for about $250 for something like this. We're trying to price it low so that we don't outprice our community. The goal is to bring people in. You can see every single film as a VIP pass holder, and you get in first, so you get that priority seating before anyone else. There's the 135 plus films that are happening. There's the headliners, there's feature films, and then there's all the shorts. We have for everything from experimental shorts, sci-fi, dramas, comedies, and our new music video category this year, since we were talking about MTV earlier. So there's kind of, like I say, there's not just something for everyone, there's 25 things for everyone. So it's just about finding those 25 things. We have tons of special events, including virtual reality this year. We did it last year. It was huge. So now I have a brand new film. It's a short film narrated by Colin Farrell called Gloomy Eyes. It's been winning all the awards in VR. It's gorgeous. You get to watch a film happen like all around you. We have something called the plank experience, where you get to you go into an elevator, you take it to the 80 stories high. The doors open up, and there's just a plank there, and you have to see whether or not you've got the cojones to walk out on the plank.
Yeah, I did a very early version of virtual reality where it was like a hang glider experience.
Oh, really?
It was in like a science museum. And I was like, I'm really into video games, but this is a little too visceral.
It's surprising, and that's kind of why we're doing it, is I want people to see how it's not even that the VR part is so realistic, it's that your brain takes everything as real. And half the people I've tested this out on can't walk the plank because you're on the floor. We will actually have a wooden plank that matches what's in there, so you get that feeling of the wobbliness. It's really cool. But you look down and you see 80 stories that you could fall, and it doesn't feel like a game.
Yeah.
And so even if you don't actually make it out, it's cool to just have that experience and know what that's like.
Yeah.
And then just see if you can do it.
Well, we just did a story about the Skidmore professor, Aaron Pedinati, who also does stuff for the Sanctuary for Independent Media radio station. But he's working on a virtual reality movie documentary about the Strawberry Hill House, which was the inspiration for the Castle of Otranto. And his whole sort of theory is that Gothic literature inspired the movement towards virtual reality in the way that they're trying to create these synthetic worlds that have these impacts on you. And his theory is very neat, but basically you're going to go tour this castle through virtual reality, and I guess things from the book may then happen.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine, given my experiences with virtual reality so far, that it will actually be terrifying.
The future of horror to me is VR, because you want a terrifying experience. Watch a demon come flying at you in VR. There's just nothing like it, because you can experience it. So yeah, I don't think VR has fully found what its future is yet, but I do think it has a big one in horror. We're not going to go that far. Gloomy Eyes is in that sort of like Nightmare Before Christmas animated horror, but not jump out horror or anything like that. And yeah, but what's cool is the experiences that you wouldn't be able to have. You can hike the Mount Everest with the VR experience, and like those kind of things are just be able to swim and dive the wreckage of the Titanic. Like that's I'm not going to have that experience, and VR can give me that simulation. And so, bringing that to the film festival to a large chunk we don't have any VR arcades down in Glens Falls yet. So, I always say down, up in Glens Falls yet. It's just one of those experiences. We also have what's a partnership with Skidmore's MDocs program, a 360 VR. So we've got the Google Cardboard, where you put your phone in it. And one of their students created a documentary that we'll be screening called How to Tell a True Immigrant Story.
Oh, wow.
Every single VIP pass holder gets the Google Cardboard that you get to bring home with you. So you get some cool swag, and you can watch many different movies, but you'll be able to watch that one, and we'll have a screening time for that. And as I said, VIP, you get your popcorn, unlimited, and we're amping our popcorn game. I think we've always done the festival well, but what we've not done well is the popcorn game. Popcorn game, every year I'm like, we can do this better. So this year I'm like, screw it, we're going all out. We bought new popcorn machines. We're gonna have 20 different flavorings, toppings, so you can have buffalo wild wing flavor, dill pickle flavor popcorn, any kettle corn flavor, whatever you want, and then there'll be like marshmallows and M&Ms you can put in it, unlimited. Wow. Popcorn. So so that's what I'm super excited about.
And to get tickets, it's Adirondack. Should it be
ADKFilmFestival.org? ADK. How many times can I say that? ADKFilmFestival.org.
And we're coming up pretty close, right? We talked October
17th through the 20th. So you got Thursday is the kickoff event. Then we do a party. We have a party every night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that's always included as well. And then you can interact and intermingle with all the filmmakers. So Thursday is Pretenders and the party at the Queensberry. Friday is all day, all night. And then afterwards is party at Davidson Brothers. Saturday, all day, all night, films. And then there's our awards presentation at the Park Theater, and then a party afterwards at Downtown Social. Then Sunday, all morning and afternoon, is the Best of Fest. So whatever our audience, we don't have a jury panel, we have our audience. They choose what's the best, and whatever they choose that's the best Saturday night, we'll make a schedule of and show on Sunday.
Very cool.
So,
and just out of curiosity, obviously you're in the thick of it for the film festival, but is the theater festival planning for next year underway? Is there a...
Oh man, people always think they're segmented. It never stops. Yeah. It never stops. So I have just this month so far, I believe when I left here, I had 468 new scripts that were submitted to me in the past month.
Wow.
Get about 2,000 new plays. So it's nonstop looking for the greatest new plays and musicals. So that's going on. This film festival isn't like we ended in August, the theater festival. That's not when the film festival planning starts. It starts in January.
Yeah.
So I usually take like a month off after October, and then December we meet again, post-mortem in January. It's looking for the next thing, and I don't think our programming director ever stops because it's so much content.
Yeah.
2,000 plays, 2,000 movies that were submitted this year. I mean, it's...
Wow.
It's just, it takes a lot to get the details of a festival at this scale right, to the point where people can go and just say, I loved it. They might not know why and what makes us different from others, but it's the fact that we pay attention to every single part of every filmmaker's experience and every film goer's experience to try to create the best festival that the state can have.
Very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I hope to attend. I'm excited.
Hope to attend. You're attending.
Yeah. Well, just got to run it by my daughter, and she's. But the popcorn might just let if she knows that.
If there's free popcorn.
Yeah. If she hears that, I'm like, whatever. You get there's marshmallows. Yeah. I get popcorn. Go for it.
Done.
But yeah, thank you so much, and I really look forward to it. And I think everyone should check it out as soon as possible, and I hope to talk to you again before the theater festival next year.
Sounds like a plan. ADKFilmFestival.org.
Thank you.